Okay, let's unpack this mountain of Medicare materials you've got piled up. Websites, brochures, the whole shebang.
It's fascinating you've got all this material focused on how to learn about Medicare, not just the dry details themselves.
Right. And speaking of guidance, I see this phrase popping up everywhere: best Medicare classes.
It goes back to that personalized touch.
So it's about more than just knowing the difference between Plan A and Plan B.
Exactly. Remember that quote you highlighted about the class showing someone how their Medicare choices could impact their retirement funds?
Makes sense. But I gotta admit, seeing this section on the website titled, "Is this a sales pitch?"
And you're right to be wary. No one wants to feel pressured into a decision, especially when it comes to something as important as healthcare.
Okay, that's a relief. So no one's gonna be slipping me a business card with their Medicare plan of the day on it.
Not if it's a legitimate class. And speaking of legitimacy, I noticed they mention all their instructors are certified and undergo regular training.
So these aren't just folks who skimmed a Medicare pamphlet the night before. They actually know their stuff. But what does that knowing their stuff really entail?
This is where the true value of a specialized class comes in. It's about understanding all the paths of Medicare planning, not just the basics.
Which is huge if you've been diligently contributing to an HSA for years,
Yeah.
right? Suddenly, Medicare's in the picture, and you need to know how to navigate those waters without losing any potential savings.
Exactly. And it's not just HSAs. They address things like spousal enrollment, which can be a minefield of its own if you're not careful.
So they're addressing very specific scenarios, which makes me wonder, how do they tailor it to each individual? Are these classes just pre-recorded presentations?
That's where a small but crucial detail from the material stood out to me. They mentioned the instructor actually surveying the class at the start to gauge everyone's biggest questions and concerns.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all presentation. That makes me feel better already, like I could actually walk into one of these classes and get my own questions answered.
That's exactly the point, and it highlights why choosing the right class and instructor is so crucial. This is where your savvy research skills come in.
Right, because I noticed this website lists a few different names. Are they all instructors?
That's the thing. Just because someone's listed on a website doesn't mean they'll be the one teaching the class you choose. It's smart to ask, who's the instructor for this specific date and time before you sign up?
Oh, that's a good point.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have thought of that. So we're not just evaluating the class, but also the instructor.
Precisely. Remember how you love to really understand who you're learning from? Don't hesitate to ask about the instructor's background, their experience specifically with Medicare, even their teaching style if you can. Some people connect better with a more conversational approach, while others prefer someone who sticks to the hard facts. Figuring out what works for you can make all the difference.
It's like choosing a tour guide. You want someone knowledgeable, but also engaging, right? Someone who can make the information come alive.
Yeah. Exactly. And speaking of expertise, here's where a detail from the material really struck me. They mention offering over 500 courses scheduled in specific cities throughout the area. This isn't
So it's the difference between seeing a general practitioner versus a specialist. You go to the specialist when you need that laser focus on a particular area.
Exactly. And when it comes to something as important and nuanced as Medicare, having that specialized guidance can make all the difference in your understanding and ultimately your peace of mind.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about why Medicare classes are valuable, how to spot a legitimate class, and even how to choose the right instructor. But let's bring it all home for our listener. You're sitting there with a stack of materials, maybe feeling a little overwhelmed. What's the key takeaway? Why does all this matter?
It matters because it's about empowerment. It's about understanding that choosing how you learn about Medicare is just as important as choosing the plan itself. You're not just passively receiving information, you're actively shaping your understanding of a topic that will have a direct impact on your healthcare and, as we've discussed, potentially your financial well-being for years to come.
It's like taking control of your health journey instead of feeling lost in the waiting room.
Precisely. And that's what this deep dive has been all about, giving you the knowledge and confidence to navigate the Medicare maze with purpose and clarity. You're not just filling out forms, you're making informed decisions about your future.
So much good stuff to think about. But it's not just about thinking, is it?
You're absolutely right. It's about taking action,
Yeah.
putting all this knowledge to good use.
Exactly. What's our final takeaway for our listener? What's the one thing they should do after listening to this deep dive?
Don't let this momentum fade. Take that stack of materials you've got and don't let it gather dust.
I like where you're going with this.
Grab your calendar right now while it's fresh in your mind and schedule that Medicare class.
Yes. No more procrastination.
Exactly. And remember, you're not just passively signing up for something. This is about finding the right guide for your Medicare journey.
So true. It's like choosing a tour guide. You want someone who's not only knowledgeable, but also engaging and can answer your specific questions.
Exactly. And once you've found the right class instructor, show up ready to learn. Bring your notes, bring your questions, and most importantly, bring that sense of empowerment we've been talking about.
Because you're not just there to be talked at. You're an active participant in this process.
That's the spirit. This is about taking ownership of your healthcare decisions. And remember, there are experts out there ready and willing to guide you.
So to wrap things up, today has been about going beyond those brochures and websites and understanding why Medicare classes are so valuable and how to find one that's right for you.
You've got the knowledge, the resources. You have the power to make informed decisions about your healthcare. Don't underestimate yourself.
I love that. This deep dive has been all about empowering you with the tools and confidence to navigate the world of Medicare.
Absolutely. And remember, it's a journey, not a sprint. Take it one step at a time, ask for help when you need it, and celebrate your progress along the way.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive on Medicare classes.
Until next time, keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep diving deeper.